Well, welcome to this session of Northern Michigan Update. I'm Senator Jason Allen. In our ongoing discussion about things that we should be aware of and prepared for, we have invited our friends from the Michigan State Police to give us a briefing on things that families should be doing and an overview of emergency systems. Today we have Lieutenant Chris Kelenske, and the lieutenant is involved with emergency management, emergency preparedness for the Michigan State Police. So this will give our families, our citizens, our businesses an overview of the things we are doing at a state and a preparedness level, and the things that our families and businesses should be doing. Chris, it's nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
And we appreciate your time. I know it's been very busy in preparation for a lot of different things. Tell me a little bit about your job and your role with the Michigan State Police.
Well, my job is to help coordinate a lot of the Homeland Security and emergency management issues that are coming up, all the new tasks that we have as an agency and that all the local and county officials have also, and kind of coordinate that at a statewide level.
Now, just give our viewers a little bit of an overview of how you and our state police are defining Homeland Security and the types of issues that cover Michigan.
When we think of Homeland Security in our division, it's an all-hazards approach. We don't separate the terrorism component from natural disasters. Specifically when we talk about preparation, it's all hazards. Everything from natural disasters, man-made disasters, any emergencies, things of that nature.
So talking about sort of the man-made disasters, sort of besides the terrorism, what are the types of things that you prepare for there?
In this state, tornadoes, floods, any severe weather, snowstorms, things of that nature are what we're looking at.
Okay. And then sort of on the man-made issues, is that like train wrecks, or is it?
It could be. Sometimes they're just accidents that occur, so I guess you could go back to, that was from somebody. And we also throw in there the terrorist events or incidents.
Okay. And then on the coordination, tell me a little bit about how that, we talk about the Department of Homeland Security, which was set up after the post 9/11. What's the role of Michigan State on the police in regards to that on a federal and on the state level?
The way it's structured is we have the Department of Homeland Security at the federal level. And every state has a Director of Homeland Security or Homeland Security Advisor. That has been tasked to the Michigan State Police. So at the federal level, they roll out what they think has to be done at a national basis, and then we take that at a statewide level and see how we as a state need to work, and then we pass that down to our local counterparts. We have district coordinators from the state police in every district of the state that we've created, and they in turn are the liaison between us here in Lansing to all those local coordinators, emergency management coordinators that are throughout the state.
So how many districts are there in the state?
Well, there's 7 districts, but we have Southeast Michigan broke up into 2 areas. So we have 8 district coordinators that are out there.
So is it fair to say it's something probably like the UP, and then in our listening area something north of Clare? Is that how that works, or what are the districts like?
The UP is one of the districts, and they have a district coordinator up there. And then the 7th district is about the Clare area, the top half of the state. Okay, very good. Now, for example, let's take a look, because our Senate district, the 37th, covers Chippewa, Mackinac, which is in the UP, and then Presqu'île, which is over in the Alpena area, and then Sheboygan, Emmett, Charlevoix, Antrim, and Grand Traverse. So our group is dealing with 2 different sets of district activities. And so like our listeners and viewers in the Mackinac, Chippewa areas are primarily, where is their district coordinator, and what are the types of things that they're up to? The district should be, because the district coordinators are all, their boss is actually in Lansing with us, all the same information is being tasked out to them. But the district coordinators in the Upper Peninsula, they're stationed right at the state police headquarters up there. But they really should, at the local level, their main contact should be their local emergency manager and that's all on our webpage, where they can get a list of where they are, their phone numbers, and things of that nature.
What are the types of things that a district coordinator does?
Their biggest role is to coordinate what we're doing at the state level with the locals, and vice versa. Relay the issues that they have, or some of the problems they're having, and getting us that information so we can help them out.
So like last year I was invited to a coordinated activity with Homeland Security, Coast Guard on up at the Straits area. And they did a mock thing, I believe, sort of on a couple different areas. Tell us how those is that part of the things that this district person is involved with?
Yes, that's part of, they did an exercise, and the district coordinator is there. Their job is also to bring those state assets. So in that case, they helped with the planning of the exercise, filled in some of the resources that the state, not just state police, but the state of Michigan as a whole can provide. So during a disaster emergency, when local resources are pretty much used up, or they see they're going to be depleted, they have that contact that can call up to Lansing and say, this is what we need.
Gotcha. Because I know that the information transmission and communications is so tough. I remember what a great job after we sort of learned about the challenges that it came up with the Fox News that the Straits, the bridge was under threat, and you know how that has changed. I mean, it's got to be really challenging from your perspective on how fast communications operates and how do you control today versus what our predecessors did even 10 years ago.
I'm not sure I understand how they functioned with one-way radio transmissions and. So yeah, it's communication definitely is a key in any event.
Okay, now to talk about families and some of the things that they should be working on, and if you don't mind, we'll talk a little bit about businesses. We've seen ads about accessing the United States government for emergency preparedness plans and those types of things. What types of overall issues should a family start thinking about? Is it like personal issues, like making sure that you've got the appropriate diabetic supplies, or is it insurance issues? What are sort of the bases that every one of these types of plans should have?
Well, you hit some really big ones. The most critical, well, the first part of that is to understand and know what types of disasters you can have in your area. Obviously, we don't need to plan for a hurricane, but we do need to plan, especially when you get up north, floods, severe snowstorms, things of that nature. So knowing what types of disasters can occur.
And so up north you would think the flooding from one of our streams or rivers, or a high water mark on the Great Lakes. The snowstorms that, isn't it amazing? Here we are in April, and as you may, we've always done our legislative snowmobile trip, and we always have that the first 3 weeks of January. We have it scheduled. There was no snow, and we were joking with Senator Thomas. We should be out snowmobiling right now.
That's right. That's right.
Severe snowstorms.
Could even be a dam if you live downstream from a dam. The fact that if that dam was to break, or there was a problem with it. How that
so sort of the first thing is on the natural, or sort of go through the list that is potentially could affect your family.
Yeah, and pretty much the plan that you're going to have for any of those catastrophic events. If you plan for the worst, and we're even doing that at a state level and nationwide, there's planning scenarios, and they're worst case scenarios, different scenarios that they have. And if you plan for those, you're set. If it's smaller than that, great, but at least you've planned for the worst.
Okay, so you sort of identify those types of things. Now, are we working on a plan for these large communicative diseases, whether it be a flu epidemic or those types of things?